Good afternoon, Year 10. I'm going to go through the work from week 2, week beginning the 30th of March. We're looking at the Battle of Hastings, what happened, why it happened, and ultimately why William wins. So this first sort of task on the work I gave you guys, we're looking at this little timeline at the top. The key from this is thinking about how much marching Harold's army had to do, and therefore the sort of the condition they were in when they finally do meet William down in Hastings. They've marched a long way in a very short period of time, which leaves them tired, leaves them fatigued, and that will play a role in their sort of ultimate defeat. For this task, we're looking for just a little symbol, a little image to talk about what happens in each of the boxes, just so you've got a chronology and understanding of how the battle unfolds. So the first sort of event is William's scouts spot Howard's advancing army. Therefore, Howard fails to achieve a surprise attack. They're going to have to meet in a traditional way, therefore Howard's sort of plan of a surprise attack doesn't work. Howard's army is then able to position itself alongside a ridge at the top of the hill. This means William are going to have to attack uphill. As we hopefully know, having an uphill advantage in a battle is always sort of a good thing, because it's far harder to run up and attack than it is to sort of just defend that land. The battle lasted 8 hours, a very long time for a medieval battle. It's because the two sides were evenly matched. There were different phases of the battle, so it's not just all sort of one episode. It does last 8 hours, and there's different sort of episodes within it. It's like a long series, and each part sort of makes up part of that bigger story. William's archers were the first to attack, so William's men at the bottom of the hill. But the archers had to stay out of the English javelin range, and the English shield wall knew how to catch the arrows in their shields. So William's archers are shooting uphill. Harold's shield wall using their shields wisely and just sort of taking the arrows out of the game. Next, William's foot soldiers and knights were beaten back by the shield wall initially. The English housecarls did great damage to horses and men with their two-handed axes. So as William's men tried to attack the top of the hill, the shield wall, which is the shields locked in together to create sort of a very fierce, very firm barrier, does enough to knock and to resist William's soldiers. At one point, the Norman army was panicking that William had been killed. William tipped back his helmet to show he was still alive. This is sort of a really famous, almost like propaganda incident. The mood of the people when they lose their king is really down and think, oh, it's not good enough, we can't win. Him taking his helmet off or revealing his face shows the people actually we are doing this and we're still in it, which is a real boost to William's army and a real boost to the Normans. Next, we've got the tactic of the feigned retreat. This meant that the English herdsmen left the shield wall to chase the retreating Normans. The English were then surrounded and cut down. So William's men attacked. When they thought they couldn't attack anymore, they marched back. This brings Harold's men down off the hill. It's sort of pursuing them. What then happens is we turn around quickly, as shown in the arrow, and they sort of cuts them off and it cuts them down. A shield wall gradually thinned out. Norman knights then charged through it and caused great damage. Norman archers became more effective as the shield wall failed. So as some of the men had been brought out of the shield wall by this fake retreat, the shield wall gets weaker. There's gaps in it, and therefore there's holes that we can pick through. Think about rugby. You play with a flat line in defence, the idea being nobody can run through your defence. If you've got all people everywhere, there's gaps people can get through, and as soon as you start getting through the gaps, that's when the damage can start. Howard and his brothers Gurth and Leofwine and the housecarls made the final stands at the top of the hill, fighting to the death. Eventually, Harold and his brothers die. Harold, who had been the King of England, is dead. The rest of the English army then ran for it. The Bay of Tapestry ends with the words in Latin, and the English turned and fled. That is a short sort of synopsis of the war. There's loads of videos on YouTube. I've included some of the links on the YouTube channel that I've sent you the link already that you can watch if you want to see it in a bit more detail. This information slide is just going to help you with the sort of second work for this week. What it is a breakdown of the advantages, disadvantages, and some additional information about the sort of the core fighters in the Battle of Hastings. Have a read through it, and it's used to start thinking about, well, who's got the advantage? Why have they got that advantage? This task is really key, really important, and what we're thinking about is why William wins. So there's different reasons William wins, but you can also be asked the question, why does Harold lose? Very similar questions, but with a subtle difference. So what you need to be doing going through here is you're looking at the different statements and you're colour coding them. Reasons William won, reasons Harold lost. I've had a quick go at sort of colour coding these for you, and the problem is it's down to interpretation a lot of the time. William's reason for victory is very similar to the reason for Harold's defeat, but some of the key things we need to pull through. Okay, William's innovation, he used the knights against the shield wall. So again, so using his horse-mounted troops was an advantage. The time William chose to cross the channel to get to the battle was also an advantage. Okay, as we can see in this box here, William crossed the channel in September, as he knew that Harold would not be expecting him to do it. Now, if we think about the weather, we think about what starts to happen in September. We get into autumn. Okay, the channel is going to be a lot more challenging to cross. There's higher winds. Okay, there's more chance of rain. Therefore, that small body of water becomes more dangerous, becomes more troublesome. Harold didn't think he had come over at this time because of that. Other reasons William wins. Okay, we can talk about the feigned retreat. He's got good tactics. He shows an innovative idea and he knows what he's doing. Okay, keeps the English on their toes. And then finally, we can maybe talk about the fact that William harried the surrounding areas that the Anglo-Saxons were already threatened before the battle even began. Okay, therefore, they've got a psychological advantage. The local people know, okay, what William's like, and therefore they've got a psychological advantage going into the war. Right, so sort of the final piece of work you need to think about is planning and then ultimately writing this essay. William won the Battle of Hastings mostly due to good luck. Explain why you agree or disagree with this view. In order to do a 16-mark question like this, so it's 16 marks plus your 4 for spelling, punctuation and grammar, so it's 20 marks, big question, worth a lot in your exam. You need to consider you need to write 3 different paragraphs. So for this we're talking about luck. Why it was luck that helped William win the Battle of Hastings. So look back at that last little table we did. Were any of them things lucky? Okay, what went William's way that maybe could have gone the other way and changed the battle? Secondly, you're talking about William's skill. What did William do? What did William think about? What did William organise? Okay, that we can credit to his skill. That means that they won. And it wasn't luck, it was more skill, you could argue. And then thirdly, you need to think about what actually no, it was Harold's mistakes. If Harold had been a bit more shrewd, a bit more sensible, he could have won the battle. That's kind of the 3 things you need to talk about. And then really, really importantly, you need to have a conclusion. Okay, you need to answer that question. Do you agree that it was mainly down to luck or mostly down to luck that William won the Battle of Hastings? If you don't have that conclusion, it really holds your mark down. Okay, so what you need to think about next, and your next little task, is planning that.